Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with the men's basketball coach at New Mexico, Richard Pitino. Coach Pitino, great to be with you. And my goodness, I can't remember a show where we're going to get to talk about two better basketball games. Great teams, great finishes. You go 1-1. I know you'd have loved to have been 2-0, but man, is this league good.
League is great. I think we're really good, and I think that's where the passion comes from. Our fans are they want it so badly. You go back to the Boise State game, just an amazing game, two teams battling it out. I think it was the same thing at Nevada. I think Nevada's really good. I thought we were really good. To go from an overtime game at home, then travel, and then go to a double overtime game, our guys showed amazing heart. So for where we're at in this process, there's a lot to learn from, but so very, very grateful for this group of guys.
How about that? The Lobos hadn't played an OT game all year, hadn't played a double OT game since November of 2013, and you go back to back.
Yeah, they're probably pretty tired, and we gave them today off. And, they're not perfect, none of us are, but the one thing that I can say after 21 games, they play hard, they compete, they're easy to root for. There's never been a question of effort, and that's really, really hard to get that so early in this process. So a great game. I mean, it was very, very similar to Boise in a lot of ways. It was a fun game to be a part of. There was lead changes, there were counter punches, obviously big plays down the stretch, and it's going to be a great learning experience for our guys.
And you think about it, they score the first 5 points. They never led by more than 5. You guys grabbed a 5-point lead at one point. You never led by more than 5. It was an amazing game.
It was. And I think the Mountain West is really showing well, especially nationally on television. I mean, there's been some great games that have, been showcased. Obviously, ours at home, that one was great. And what it does for us is it's going to help continue to rebuild our brand. I mean, our brand was so strong about 10 or so years ago, and now it's getting there, but now it's about continuing to build off this foundation that we're trying to build.
Boy, amazing games for us to review. Morris Udeze layup off a dent feed on a bounce pass on an inbound to beat Boise State in the pit with just over a second to go. Then the Lobos go double OT in Reno against Nevada. And I know there's some pain right now from that loss, but perspective, right, Coach? I mean, 18-3?
Yeah, I always tell young coaches when they get into the profession, hey, don't win too soon because they're going to expect it. But that's not to complain about anything. I mean, I think that this year and how we finish and everything is going to help us build for future success. I think that recruits are seeing how engaged the fan base is. The fan base is back, and they're emotional, and they're pulling for us, which is awesome to see. The crowds have been amazing. So although we're really, really early in this rebuild process, we're so far ahead of schedule, it is only going to help for the future. But yeah, like you said, we're 18-3. We're 5-3 in the league. We've got some great opportunities coming up. Let's see if we can go get Air Force.
And what a great group to root for. I mean, this is a terrific bunch of guys, right?
They are. I mean, I think when we took over this program, certainly we want to win games. And obviously being 18-3 is great. But we want players, student athletes that this community can be proud of, that go to class, that act the right way when they're not around us, that handle themselves with class and dignity. They do that. And as I said before, this early in the process, you never know what you're going to get. So it's been great to see.
Well, finally, a little bit of a breather with playing so late, that late window game, overtime, Boise State. Kids don't get home till after midnight. And then a little bit of an earlier start in the Pacific time zone with just maybe 36 hours of prep. Finally, you get to breathe before Air Force.
Yeah, we need a little break for sure, especially with the overtime and double overtime game. So mentally and physically recharge, get back to work tomorrow.
Okay, we're going to get to work after the break. Highlights of the Lobos' OT win over Boise in the pit next. We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show with the men's basketball coach at New Mexico, Richard Pitino. The Lobos take down Boise State 81-79 in overtime in front of an electric crowd in the pit. Let's get to the highlights. And Coach, just look at that crowd again. What a night.
Just an amazing crowd. I said after the game, I really believe it was the loudest crowd I've been a part of. It's so fun to see this amazing fan base back. And, it's going to be, if we continue to invest like we're doing, we're going to have a lot of fun nights in that building.
So the Lobos get a back cut there and a basket, and the fans see that, and it looks so easy. How do those materialize?
Well, there's a couple actions that we run where we'll set you up, and if you fall asleep, we'll be able to do that. And I think it was mashed through to Javante, and it was a really good cut.
And there's another one, and this time, on the little pocket pass, Alec gets to pull down the rim.
Yeah, we've been really trying to tell these guys about getting to that pocket pass. We're still not great at offensive flow, and that's just something where the ball is sticking a little bit, but a really good pass and a really good dunk by Josiah. This is a good job getting a loose ball. Catch and shoot threes are a high percentage shot we got to keep looking for. Josiah has just been amazing with the hustle plays. Saving the ball, kicking it out to Donovan, and then Donovan getting Morris for a dunk.
I think two things back to back there. The great minutes you got from Barima second this game. We saw him with a hustle play. And then Alec, the guy with 18 rebounds in this game.
18 rebounds is amazing. Nice kick out there. We want paint touches, then kick out threes. Donovan Dent knocking it down was great as well.
Those catch and shoot threes are so good. Tougher to make them off the dribble, huh, Coach?
They are. We're not bad at them for sure, but they're always a much higher percentage shot if you kick it out.
What about the way that you played defensively against a pretty efficient Boise State offense?
Yeah, I thought we did a lot of good things. We disrupted, we rebound. We've been rebounding the ball very, very well, and that's just showing a high level of toughness. See offensively right there, if they're going to go under a ball screen on Jamal Mashburn Jr., he's got to knock it down. Got to obviously do a better job saving it. Javante did a better job yesterday saving it for an assist. But really good hustle play here that I believe leads to a dunk for Morris.
And it's Josiah again. He's got to be the league leader in hustle plays.
He works so hard, and he's just one of those guys where may not always show up on the box score, but he just is such an all-intangible glue guy.
We saw KJ Jenkins right there, and he just continues to offer contributions off the bench, Coach.
He absolutely does, and he's a nice spark. Right there, we reversed the ball, got it turned, and went into a little middle ball screen. House got a nice mid-range. And Josiah, we got to continue to look down to him. He can score down there.
Yeah, Mo's getting all the pub for all his work down on the block, but Josiah's pretty good with his back to the basket too.
He is, and he can continue to get better for sure. But he's done a good job when we've thrown it to him. He's been pretty efficient. Nice extra pass here. I keep stressing to these guys about making the extra pass. Here's Donovan Dent off that middle ball screen. He's obviously very, very good at it.
Gosh, he goes to the left hand and then he scoops it with the right hand from the left side. It's so tough to guard.
There's Mash, obviously in that mid-range, terrific at it.
And Donovan's not afraid to take a little contact too. Really good finishing.
Yeah, he's terrific in the middle ball screen. This is something where we wanted to switch. House didn't trust it and then just went with him where he should have switched out.
So now you're into overtime after they had tied it to get it here. And again, it's going to come right down to the finish. And there's Dent through contact and one this time.
Yep, another middle ball screen. Very, very productive in it for sure.
It's impressive the depth that you have in your backcourt this season, Coach.
Yeah, year two, right? We want to keep building on that. It's a roster where last year, year one, we added 8 guys off of Zooms. We're able to add 5 guys that certainly have helped, expedite the process. But as we continue to get true recruiting classes, we'll certainly be able to, get deeper and deeper. This is a really good read by Morris. We thought they would commit to Mash. Really good bounce pass, really good catch by Morris to go up quick.
And there's the finish. The Lobos pull it off in OT, 81-79. Just a terrific win in front of an amazing crowd. And I guess, and here's the game-winning play. Take us through the entire sequence because you said you've run it before. Mash curls to the corner.
Yeah, we were trying to set a double screen, get Mash going out, and we said, okay, if they get screwed up on any switches, we're going to slip right to the basket. Mo did that, and obviously Donovan made a really good pass.
Good pass. Even better catch?
Yeah, I think a better catch. We had Josiah in the right corner to try to get him out of the way a little bit because he's not as much of a three-point threat. They kind of sunk in on him, And Morris did a great job of catching going up quick.
I know we talked about this after the game, that end sequence there at the end of regulation when they hit the tying three. That was one where your initial thinking was that you were going to go ahead and foul before they even get the shot off?
Yeah, one of my best players said to me in the huddle, like, let's not foul, we can get a stop, which I'm totally fine with. I mean, I want their input. Where we got screwed up on was House and Josiah. Josiah yelled out swish, and how, and you don't know what exactly happened, but the two of them got to connect a little bit better and communicate that out.
They have one of the best players in the league in the sophomore, Degenhardt. I guess a lot of great tape in terms of trying to figure out how to guard that guy.
Yeah, he's done a really good job of picking and popping and then driving you. He's terrific. I thought he's freshman of the year last year in the league. He's put on a lot of weight, muscle. He could score in a variety of ways. He was really good.
A heavyweight bout. It goes to overtime. The Lobos win it 81-79. A trip to Reno and the Nevada Wolfpack. We break it down next. We're back on the Lobo Coaches Show with the men's basketball coach at New Mexico, Richard Pitino. The Lobos traveled to the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, to take on the Wolfpack, and it was a double overtime thriller, Coach.
It was a great game. It was very similar to Boise in a lot of ways. We did a great job, but they built the lead. We came back, we built the lead. It's kind of like what you said. I thought it was a heavyweight fight. Two teams that are really good in conference and really good nationally. And, they made one or two better plays than we did. Good high-low right there from Morris. Another really good middle ball screen kick out from Donovan.
Corner three ball there from Javante Johnson. And here's KJ again off the inbound.
Same play as what we ran at the end of Boise State. And they went under it. We ripped it and go.
You guys did a lot of good work in transition in this game, didn't you?
Yeah, we got a little bit better. Just being a little bit smarter. Donovan does a good job right here of kind of snaking it. He's really good at that little inside scoop shot.
Yep, that's definitely a signature move. You struggled to guard Baker a little early in the game, but then you got better at it, didn't you?
Yeah, he was good early. He's a good player. He's a good offensive player, and we did certainly a much better job later in the game.
The three was a pretty big part of your offensive attack in this game. You guys got a couple early, and that was a big deal.
We did. We're not, as I've said many a times, I'm not telling guys not to shoot threes. Let's just find good threes. That's a good one right there, catch and shoot three.
And Mashburn Jr. has improved his three-point shooting significantly this year, hasn't he, Coach?
He has, yeah. That's been a certain point of improvement. And, he's obviously great in the mid-range, but we want him to continue to get better at that catch and shoot. Good little post feed. We got to continue to look in there early. Good job by Morris. Tough to trap that with one dribble.
That freshman there that he beat, Williams for Nevada, he's going to be a good player,
He is going to be a good player. Good job here getting out in transition by Sebastian. Really good pass.
That was interesting. The last couple of games, I guess it's matchup driven in terms of how you determine the minutes coming off the bench. There's House in transition, but Barima gets a chance, then Sebastian gets a chance, and they've all been productive.
They have, and it's just a matter of those guys just building and growing and getting better and putting on weight and putting on muscle.
Here's House off a ball screen and sets up Mo, and I thought the patience here, he's got two guys who are walled up on him, and no problem.
Yeah, he was really poised there. Good pass by House. Good job by Mash against this 1-3-1 to get down to the baseline, rip it and go. He's lethal in that little action right there.
That was a really good, tough shot as we get down the stretch here at the end of the second half.
Good mid-range. He's terrific at that, obviously. Thought this one was in.
Yeah.
I thought it was
look.
in.
Just a great look.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little too much drift there. But you guys
he probably drifted a little bit more than he needed to, but that was right there. That was close. Good job here, just court awareness to just hit up the sideline and go.
You guys jumped out on him pretty quickly here at the start of this first OT.
Yep, and then another middle ball screen where Donovan's really, really good. And good little bounce pass right there. We keep trying to get him to understand he's got to have more assists. Obviously, 10 assists was really good.
Yep, double-double in this one for Jalen House.
No reason right there to help off the strong side if you're Morris. That was a crucial mistake. And then Javante here is playing off and lets the guy face cut him, which was a big play.
And this is something you've talked about a lot, putting your head down and going and getting held up by the guy who's digging.
Yeah, and House was up a little bit too much. He needed to be in the corner to give Mash some space. keep working on that corner spacing. We're struggling with that a little bit at times. Another good job of just, getting out on the break. Javonte does a great job of saving it. And Morris does a good job of coming back to the ball. House got to obviously take a better layup there for sure.
Javonte has been excellent doing the stuff that doesn't really fill a stat sheet as well, Coach, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been terrific.
Well, and here's the situation that ends up in the flagrant one against Mo, but it was pretty clear that he was fouled initially at least once, maybe twice after he secures a loose ball. Just the situation that's created at the end of these games with the replay reviews and what you can and can't review makes it pretty tough, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, challenging. I mean, I thought Morris got fouled on the initial part of it. I didn't see the clear flagrant like that. So obviously as a coach, you're sitting there going, all right, like what exactly just happened? I felt as though tie game, we needed a timeout because it was kind of chaos in there and we were kind of out of sorts. Obviously, if I knew they'd go to a review and add a flagrant, I wouldn't have done it. But it's a unique rule. I mean, I don't love the fact that you can add a flagrant when you didn't call a foul. Even if you called a foul on Morris and you said, okay, that was an offensive foul, fine, and then you want to upgrade it to a flagrant, I understand that, but it doesn't make sense to me that you can retroactively add a flagrant, but you can't add a foul on them. Not complaining about the rules. I mean, the rules are the rules, and it is what it is. But it's disappointing. It was one of those, as a coach, do you regret it? Like, I don't know if I really regret anything that I did. It was one of those situations where it was kind of a little bit of bad luck, honestly. And it just one or two things went their way, and they didn't our way. But we had a 5-point lead. We turned the ball over. We gave up a 3. We had a shot clock violation. So those are the things as a coach you really harp on more so than the officiating.
Yeah, is that the sequence at the end of the first overtime where you can't inbound it there near midcourt, and then obviously the shot clock violation? You had a 2-possession lead at that point.
Yeah, the turnover, we needed to cut harder to the basketball. I thought Josiah was open on a slip there. We got to deliver him the ball. Shot clock violation, like Josiah had the ball about 2 seconds to go. Just go make a play. Got to have an awareness there. Morris coming off the strong side to give up a 3 when he didn't need to. It wasn't his help. So it's not blaming anybody. Those are going to be great opportunities to learn from as we continue to grow.
Okay, time for us to take a break. We come back on the other side. We put a ribbon on an incredible 2 games in Mountain West play, and we look ahead to a Friday night date with Air Force in the pit. We're back to wrap up this edition of your Lobo Coaches Show with the men's basketball coach at New Mexico, Richard Pitino. I'm Robert Portnoy, and Coach, just reflect on how far the program has come in such a short time to be in 2 just unbelievable battles with 2 top-tier teams in the league like you were in consecutive games in year 2 and be 18-3. Just amazing.
It's exciting. I mean, we have to remember that we inherited, obviously, a team that was last, a team that hadn't won a lot of games, but we had to revamp a roster off of Zoom because we weren't allowed to go recruiting. I think sometimes we forget that. We were able to hit on a Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr., KJ Jenkins, Barima, Sebastian, guys who'd never visited campus. Then to be able to, see what we have and add to it with some really good guys, but it's like building a house. You can't build a house in 2 months. You got to build the framework, the foundation, and then you got to continue to strengthen it. And what this year is going to do for us, however it ends, and hopefully it ends great, it's going to help us really, really build for the future. And that's what we want to do. We don't want a quick fix. We want to build a terrific program with stability. So we've got a great opportunity here in the next, 6-7 weeks to go finish strong. But obviously there's been so many firsts this early in the rebuild process. Been great.
You think about the 18-3 start and really through those first 20 games, so many of those close games that you played, the single-digit games, the 1 or 2 possession games, the Lobos were winning those. You're playing good teams. Sometimes you're going to come up on the losing end of those.
Yeah, I think we're 4-2 if I looked at 5 points or less. And we've had some great moments and we've had some not so great moments. But if you look at after 20 games, it's the second best start since 1967 or something like that. Like, that's amazing. I mean, this is a program with a very rich tradition. So we're so excited, although we're disappointed that we lost. We're just so excited about the things that we're going to be able to build off of, and hopefully this year ends great, but to be able to sell to our current players, to the community, to our recruits, that's how we're going to flip this thing, because as I said, we don't want a quick fix. We want to build a sustainable program, and all the things that we're doing this year are really helpful for that.
Let's take a moment to celebrate some of the accolades that are starting to come your team's way with this amazing 2022-2023 regular season. So you come into the week with Jalen House as the Mountain West Player of the Week. Then Jamal Mashburn Jr. goes off. By the way, Mr. Consistency, right? This was more than consistent. 33, a career high in the loss in double OT against Nevada. He's the reigning Mountain West Player of the Week. These guards are incredible.
And they care, I mean, it's they're pouring their heart and soul into it. They're having to be carried off the court, and that's what you ask for. I mean, the locker room has been great. We haven't had any drama. They get along, they act the right way, and to be able to add a Jalen House who never saw the place, and I never met him in person, and then obviously with Jamal Mashburn Jr., him entrusting in me with the 1 year of Minnesota, that's certainly sped up this process. And it's only going to help, as I said before, when you're selling and recruiting. This kid was at Arizona State, didn't play a lot. Look at him now. He's an all-conference player. He's a top 50 player in the country. Or Jamal Mashburn Jr., the skill development, the growth, all those things. It's huge, and that's what we're going to constantly sell to the current players and the recruits.
Well, Coach, that's going to do it for us for this edition of your Lobo Coaches Show. Thank you so much. Can't wait for Air Force in the Pit, 8 p.m. tip on Friday night.
There's nothing better than the Pit on a Friday night. Can't wait.
For Chase Christensen, Steve Kirkland, and Richard Pitino, I'm Robert Portnoy. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.